I was flipping through the wedding photos on my fiancé's phone when I accidentally saw the messages he'd sent to childhood. Vivian, I'm marrying someone else. I wish the woman signing the license with me were you. Let's not miss each other again in the next life. Chase was busy trying on tuxedos for our wedding. Bored, I sat on the lounge sofa scrolling through my own phone. He changed from one set to the next. Impossibly high standards found something wrong with every single outfit. I swallowed my impatience and kept him company, piece by piece. Each time he stepped out I felt that little jolt. He was breathtaking. Not a single flaw on that perfect face, and his body was just as flawless. His phone lay on the coffee table in front of me, such a scatterbrain, always leaving it lying around. I picked it up and slipped it into my pocket. Holding it, I remembered our wedding photos were still stored inside. I thought I'd take a quick look at them. I keyed in the passcode and opened the gallery. Looking at the pictures of us together, I couldn't help smiling. I remembered what the photographer had asked us to do: stand face to face, arms around each other, and the whisper I'd breathed into his ear, I feel like I'm dreaming. I'm really marrying you. After the last photo, I was about to set the phone down when a new message popped up: don't wait for the next life, this one is perfect. I hesitated, but curiosity won. I've never been the type to snoop, and I'd never once doubted Chase. But that line made me wonder. I'd always believed I'd chosen the right man. One click and my heart shattered. Almost every message in the chat had been sent by Chase. The other side hadn't replied, until today, while he was in the fitting room. Vivian, I'm getting married. If only the person signing the papers with me were you. Let's not miss each other again in the next life. This time, she answered. Chase and I met at Lakeland and had been together ever since. He rarely mentioned Vivian himself, but his best brought her up all the time. In short, Vivian was his childhood. They'd grown up side by side, same school, same walk home, right through high school. Whenever they walked, Chase could never keep up, he trailed behind, staring at her back. He'd throw little fits because he couldn't catch her, yet watching Vivian up ahead always made him feel safe, like she'd shield him from anything. That life ended when high school did. Vivian's family hit disaster overnight. In a blink, she vanished from his world. Her silhouette disappeared, a vital piece of him went missing. Occasionally a neighbor would mutter that she'd gone somewhere far away, somewhere she might never return from. And then I appeared. The fitting room door opened, Chase walked out in a tuxedo, the air instantly scented with something delicious. Babe, do I look hot? He noticed his phone in my hand, his brows twitched for a split second. I lifted my gaze, stared at him coldly, then turned the screen toward him. Always Collected's face wavered. Tessa, let me explain. I stared into those beautiful eyes. In seconds the flicker of panic was gone, his expression flat again. Trust me, this is just a misunderstanding. Back to that calm, familiar tone. I treat those chats like a memo pad. Don't overthink it. He sounded as if it were nothing. I laughed, hopeless. Seeing that, he assumed I'd bought it and smiled too. Babe, quick, tell me if this one looks good. He grabbed my hand and swung it, rare coquettishness in his voice. I wanted to believe him, but the chat kept flashing in my mind. I shook him off, steadied myself, and looked at the man who once made my heart race. Chase, we're done. Shock froze his face, he clearly hadn't expected me to end it. He believed I was the one who invested more, the one less likely to walk away. Before the bewilderment left his eyes, I turned and left the boutique. He didn't even change, still in the tux, he chased me out. From behind he wrapped his arms around me, locking them over my chest. Tessa, don't be mad, it's explainable, not what you think. His voice cracked. I broke free, spun around, and met those gorgeous eyes. Explain? So you can tell me why you'd rather marry someone else? Rage surged. I glanced at the tuxedo and laughed despite myself. Talking about wishing to wed another woman while wearing the suit for our ceremony, this sunshine was blinding. It really isn't like that, Tessa. Stop making a scene. Let's go home and talk, okay? Not here in the street. I saw tears slide down his cheeks and drip off his chin. 7 years together, from college till now, I'd never let him suffer a hint of grievance, never made him cry. He hugged me again, harder this time, as though afraid I'd vanish, just like Vivian had. Chase, let go. We're finished. My voice was ice. He sobbed harder, voice gone hoarse. No. I don't want you disappearing too. So I really had been his placeholder. I pulled away and walked off without looking back. The instant I turned, his phone rang. You've already landed? I'll be right there, sorry, I was tied up and missed your text. His words drifted after me, and any last ember of hope died. I wandered aimlessly, wanting only to put distance between us, yet my feet carried me to the place Chase and I had first gone on a date. Actually, not even a place, more like a starting point. It was Riverside, the park near campus where we'd agreed to meet that evening years ago, back when I was green and clueless around boys. I'd blushed just seeing him. I still remember the first thing I said, "You look really nice today." Later I suggested we walk around campus and see what we could find. Our university had once made those most beautiful campus lists, so we wandered, starting at Riverside, crossing the bridge overlook, strolling Sunset, and circling back inside the school gates. He walked slowly, often a half-step behind me. Finally we stopped in front of his dorm. Twin rows of plane trees lined the path, fallen leaves carpeted the ground in bright gold. I summoned every ounce of courage, heart pounding. Maybe, we could be something more. Something more, what do you mean, Tessa? My face burned, I couldn't even look at him. What I mean is, can you be my boyfriend? I squeezed the last drop of courage out of myself and said it. I lifted my head and stared at his perfectly sculpted face. Maybe it was the fresh sweat, but his cheeks looked flushed and baby-soft, so pinchable. So that's what you meant, he said, pausing, and my nerves ratcheted higher. Sure, I'm in. But this is my first real relationship, so go easy on me, okay? Chase smiled. I smiled back, practically bouncing off the pavement. It wasn't the first time I'd met him, but that was the day his face burned itself deepest into my memory. I need a real vacation, time to sort out the mess in my heart. Time to figure out how the rest of my life is supposed to go. It was the second evening after Chase and I broke up. He'd just posted a new photo on Instagram, him with another woman, palm trees in the background. Knowing this city, it had to be the seaside. Caption, love the joy of reunions. Real was back, I no longer had a reason to exist. I packed my bags, ready to leave town for a while, to go anywhere and breathe. I opened the door, and there Chase stood. Tessa, where are you going? He actually looked panicked. No need to file a report. My destination is my business. I answered in a tone I'd never used with him, icy, detached. His face drained of color, my stranger's voice clearly jarred him. Tessa, don't leave. We're supposed to be getting married. His voice dwindled until it was almost gone. Lucky I found out before the wedding, still time to cut my losses. Tessa, please, I'm begging you, don't get on that plane. We're getting married. He grabbed the hand dragging my suitcase, practically pleading. Tessa, if you leave, what am I supposed to do? You still have Vivian, your joy of reunions. My words seemed to jab him right in the chest. His grip loosened, he stood there like a statue. I'd rarely seen him like this. In my mind Chase never showed weakness. Back at Lakeland he was always upbeat, top of the class in student council, competitions, coursework. Even after graduation, at work, whenever career headaches hit, he managed his emotions perfectly, as if nothing could touch him, as if everything bent to his will. Seeing him so lost was new. Yet maybe, just maybe, I still mattered to him. A part of me wanted to say something, anything, to ease his pain. But then the screenshots of his chats with Vivian flickered across my mind. I gave up on comforting him, turned, and headed downstairs. Halfway down, another uninvited guest showed. I'd assumed our paths would never cross again, the woman who'd delivered the biggest heartbreak of my life. Vivian. My first impression of her, flamboyant, gorgeous. Body-hugging scarlet dress, thick curls tumbling over her shoulders, a face I knew no man could resist. She walked up and greeted me. "So you're Tessa. What's wrong, little Tiff, and you're running away from home?" Her barbs left me cold, I felt nothing. I tried to step around her, she sidestepped, blocking me. "Good dogs don't block the road," I said flatly. "Chase, this is your fiancé?" Swearing like a sailor. She wasn't even talking to me, her gaze skimmed past to Chase behind me. Fiancé, did Chase still see me that way? The moment he ran to Vivian, that title died. I turned. Chase was coming down the stairs. "Chase, leash your dog." I was done being polite, ambushed at my own door, insulted on my own sidewalk. Anyone would lose it. I watched the conflict ripple across his face, then glanced back at my door, still shut, thank God. I remembered when Chase and I first moved in together. Fresh out of Lakeland, job hunting and apartment hunting at the same time. Either the commute was brutal or the rent was insane, nothing worked. We scoured every rental app and trudged to every agency in town. Back then we were dizzy from interviews by day and apartment visits by night, hemorrhaging cash. One evening, returning to campus after another failed search, I passed the Willow complex I live in now. A for-rent flyer promised a landlord direct lease. On a whim I dialed the number. Shockingly smooth, decent place, doable price. I credited sheer luck, the owner was leaving the country and wanted the unit occupied. Chase and I moved in overnight and started our 9-to-5 grind. I clocked in earlier, so each dawn I'd slip out of bed, make him breakfast, then head to the office. Nights I'd wait for him, grocery shop on the way back, and cook. Every day looked the same, only the menu changed. He said he never wanted to eat the same dish twice. What puzzled me was why a local guy chose to shack up in a rental with me instead of living at home. I got the answer soon enough. A year later his parents found out. He'd told them he was roughing it solo to experience real life, but eventually they uncovered the truth, he'd been living with me. That's when I learned his family owned Sterling Corporation, a billion-dollar local powerhouse. They hauled him home, and I stayed behind, shouldering rent alone, grinding at work. Luckily for me, my break was just around the corner. I'd crushed every project at the company so thoroughly that senior management sat up and noticed. They kicked me up to a corner office that wasn't ceremonial at all, I had real weight to throw around. A year in that seat, I liquidated every dollar I'd saved, folded every contact I'd collected across 24 months of late nights, and opened my own boutique branding shop. The first 6 months were brutal, mile-long to-do lists I hadn't even known existed, invoices that got lost, vendors who ghosted. But by the half-year mark the gears finally meshed, clients were calling me instead of the other way around. For the first time I felt legitimate marching into the Sterling mansion and telling Chase's parents we were ready to set a date. We argued over invitation fonts and canopy flavors, pinned the calendar to a perfect June Saturday, and when I looked back at everything I'd built since graduation, it felt as if the universe had stamped a giant red paint on my tab. Landing the man I loved on top of it all felt like hitting the Powerball jackpot. Right when I thought the game had switched to easy mode and my dream life was loading, Vivian flew home. I was suddenly the cheap squatting in front of Buddha, flashy, fake, and doomed to be exposed. No matter how you spin it, the real is still the real. I was just the knockoff that happened to look like her. In that instant my self-worth hit rock bottom and kept digging. The blow was unlike anything I'd ever taken. The whole city felt airlocked against me. I couldn't breathe here anymore. I'm small town at the core, maybe I was always supposed to boomerang back to where I started. A steady 9 to 5 near mom and dad, a husband who'd treat them like royalty, that might be the life that actually fits. I'd lost faith in this glossy world, I was nothing but a placeholder. While the genuine article is missing, the stand-in gets trotted out. Once the real returns, the clown gets tossed in the trash. During the startup nights when cash flow coughed and sputtered, the thought of walking down the aisle toward Chase had been the fuel in my tank. Now that future had been guillotined, by Chase himself, no less. I looked over my shoulder at him, then at Vivian glowing beside him. What a picture-perfect match, congratulations and 100 years of bliss, I said, syrup thick with sarcasm. Tessa, calm down. There's nothing between Vivian and me, she's like a little sister. Stop creating drama, Chase snapped, his tone telling me I'd already used up my last grain of his patience. So my heartbreak was just drama in his book. Typical trust fund prince, never occurred to him to trade shoes with anyone. Spoiled and self-centered must come factory installed. I'd worn such thick rose-colored lenses I'd missed that factory defect entirely. Forget her, Chase, let the princess throw her tantrum, she'll come crawling back in a week. Just freeze her out and she'll beg, Vivian chimed in, seasoning the wound. I didn't answer. I shoulder-checked her out of my way, suitcase rattling behind me. That's your precious fiancé, Chase? So classy, Vivian's sing-song poison followed me down the corridor, but it was already white noise. I turned one last time. I hope we never meet again. I needed a hard reset, planes, trains, road trips, pick-up basketball, anywhere a thought of Chase couldn't find me. First stop, Macau, to taste the neon excess my client kept raving about. But the gold leaf ceilings felt like they were suffocating me. I realized I'm allergic to gilded excess. I tried the baccarat table, no adrenaline rush, just a slow leak of cash that made my stomach cramp. Watching my own money leave my pocket still nauseates me. From there I chased rumors college had shared about some porna, water so blue it looked photoshopped, palm trees taller than any Lakeland quad. For a month I considered mailing my passport in and staying forever. Yet idle days started itching. I need a mission, a spreadsheet, a deadline, something. So I chased the northern lights across Norway, sampled postcard Switzerland, soaked up Spanish sun and a real match while I was at it. London was a bust, perpetual drizzle is my kryptonite. In LA, I caught a game featuring my high school team, but my favorite legend had already retired, so the shine was gone. I finally stitched all the stamps into one long WhatsApp album titled The Escape Tour. Among the avalanche of thumbs up, one profile pic looked hauntingly familiar. Eventually I flew home for real, mom, dad, and a town that still shuts down at 9 p.m. I upgraded the family house, swapped dad's sedan for something that growls, and stacked mom's vanity with Parisian skincare I can't pronounce. They let me vanish into my old bedroom for a month of nonstop gaming without a single lecture, mostly because mom's cooking tastes better than any Michelin star I can't currently afford to care about. I'd sold the agency, the yearly dividends alone let me live like a pampered cat. I revived every hobby I'd shelved, dawn basketball, dusk weights, weekend bike loops when the weather behaved. Sometimes I corralled the old gang for an all-nighter at the internet cafe, but schedules never align, everyone else has a job, a spouse, a life. During one of those too quiet afternoons I scrolled past Chase's latest post, him in a perfectly tailored tuxedo, captioned with a dumb winking emoji. So much for never see you again. A wormhole cracked open and all the ache poured through. I clicked his profile, post after post chronicling the life he and Vivian were building, walks along the same riverbank, surprise mystery boxes in random cities, everything he and I used to do. Clearly, I had too much free time and too much phone. I needed a job, any job, to park my brain in neutral. With my Lakeland diploma, the county engineering office took me on without blinking. The salary was laughable, but it was drought-proof and gave me somewhere to be at 8:30 every morning. On my third day, I ran straight into a ghost from sophomore year. Logan, my old high school lab partner, leaning against the water cooler, impossibly taller, broader, and far better dressed than I remembered. He spotted me first and broke the silence. Mixed doubles badminton, sophomore year, don't tell me you wiped that from your hard drive, busy woman Tessa. His eyes curved into the same half-moon grin. Memory unlocked, spring tournament, me dragged onto the court by an overenthusiastic PE teacher, eliminated before lunch. Years of chase-centric tunnel vision had archived most of high school, apparently it still held Easter eggs. Well, look at you, so hip I almost asked security to escort the stranger out, I shot back. He'd traded the buzz cut for a styled crop and the chunky frames for sleek gold wire. The lankiness had filled into lean muscle, but the crescent eyes hadn't changed. Big city CEO slumming it at the county office, our payroll can't afford you, he teased, stressing the busy part every other sentence. I'm the opposite of busy, alarm clocks are optional these days. Could have fooled me, too swamped to answer a simple "Are you back in town?" text. I scrolled through my chat history, sure enough, 3 unread pings from him asking exactly that. Sorry, I'm not slammed, I've just stayed off my phone lately. Next time I'll buy you a drink and apologize properly. When Logan heard that, his grin widened. Why wait? Let's do it after work today, my calendar's clear. And don't forget, technically I'm still your boss. I glanced at the badge on his chest, his title was exactly one rung above mine. Deal, see you at quitting time. Great, quitting time it is. He turned and walked away. I watched his retreating back and felt a small pang. Men, they really do change. At 5:30 he was waiting outside my department, and we walked to the cafe near the county engineering office. We sat across from each other, sipping coffee in slow, careful mouthfuls. I hadn't talked to a guy one-on-one in ages, my social skills with the opposite sex were basically zero. Funny, he said, breaking the ice, since graduation we haven't crossed paths once. Yeah, I left for Lakeland and lost touch with most high school. The memories rolled in. After I met Chase, every break became a scramble for part-time gigs, squirreling away cash so we could travel together once classes resumed. I'd skipped every real vacation. Friends from high school drifted away until only childhood and a couple of die-hard gamers were left, and even that contact was just an occasional round online. So how've the years been? He asked, teasing. Couldn't hack the big city, so you came home to sponge off the parents? Pretty much. Sky-high rent, 90-hour weeks, decided I'd rather mooch locally. Back for good? His tone turned serious. Planning on it. Find a hubby, pop out a kid, settle into small-town peace. Any prospects? I bet your parents are lining up blind dates. No one on the radar, and arranged setups aren't my thing. His eyes curved into crescents, corners of his mouth lifting. We kept the chatter light. I learned he'd stayed local for college, then slid straight into an engineering job and climbed the ladder rung by rung. Sounds steady, I said. Kinda nice, actually. We left the cafe and he suggested strolling past the old campus, now converted into a park. The streets hadn't changed. Every corner replayed some mini-movie in my head. Riverdale moved in slow motion, people lived, clocked in, clocked out, bought groceries, no frantic sprint for survival, no ulcer-inducing quotas. Sunset smeared peach across the storefronts. Parents walked home with kids, stopping for candy bars. Commuters on e-scooters veered into the farmer's market for dinner ingredients. Life here looks simple, I told him. Back in the city I was basically livestock with a laptop. I flashed back to chasing the benchmarks Chase's parents set: perpetual overtime, skipped meals, 4-hour sleep. All that grind for the guy now striding toward me, Vivian on his heels. Who materialized right there on the quiet sidewalk, smack in front of Logan and me. Who is he? Cheating on me behind my back? Chase snarled, face twisted. A small crowd paused, hungry for drama. I ignore you for a few days and this is your excuse to screw around? He kept barking. The day I left we were already over, I said flatly, tugging Logan's hand to leave. Vivian slid from the shadows, blocking us. Tessa, really? This is the side piece you scrape up, doesn't even hit half of Chase's league. She looked Logan up and down. I felt Logan's fingers tremble in mine. If you can't muzzle your mutt, I'll do it for you. Keep the crap breath to yourself. You heard Chase for months and think you can just stroll away? Vivian wouldn't drop it. I'd had enough. My fist connected with her cheek. Chase, leash your dog. I see her again, I swing again. I turned, pulling Logan with me. Chase caught Logan's shoulder, spinning him around. Listen, whoever you are, vanish from Tessa's life or I'll bury you, he hissed, the unshakable mask he once wore now completely shattered. I knocked Chase's hand away and stepped between them. We're nothing to each other. Who I date is none of your business. Stay out of my life. Chase shook, eyes bloodshot. I didn't wait, I walked off with Logan. After that scene I lost all desire to visit the campus-turned-park. Sorry about today. My mess. Can we try the park another time? Sure, next time, Logan answered, mood clearly dimmed. We walked in silence while dusk thickened and streetlights flickered on. Wind picked up, scraping fallen leaves across the pavement. Autumn's here, he said, hands jammed in pockets, chin tucked into his collar. I slipped off my jacket and draped it over his shoulders. He pulled it tighter and looked sideways at me. I love this season. Our first badminton match was in the fall, remember? We played outside, wind so strong it knotted every lob. Half our shots never cleared the net. You argued with the referee, you really wanted that win. I was terrible, you carried a deadweight plus freak weather and still lost. You never blamed me. Just like now, you handed me your uniform jacket. You sweated through your shirt and then shivered, next day you had a cold and sneezed through homeroom. Listening to you sneeze killed me, I felt guilty. I sneaked cold pills into your desk at lunch. You probably never noticed. I started watching you then, checked your exam scores, memorized your after-school number, your address. I kept showing up when you played pickup hoops. Hated that Luke kid for always body-checking you, even though you two were childhood. I laughed. Lou, still one of my closest, was a roly-poly teen who loved to barrel into me. Back in senior year I even sneaked a look at the list of colleges you were aiming for. I was too dumb to get into any of them, but you made it, and I was so happy for you. After that I lost track of you. I asked Big Lou, but he didn't know much either. Said you two had drifted apart. I couldn't think of any other way. I figured once college started I'd forget you. But heaven gave me another chance to run into you. So, Tessa, I have to ask. Will you be with me? I was stunned. A casual, almost unnoticed moment in high school had lived in his head and heart for all these years. Yet I couldn't see why anyone would confess to me right now. I hadn't even sorted out the mess I called a love life. Accepting him now would only hurt him. Let me tell you what happened between me and the man I was with today, I said, turning to him. After you hear it, decide whether you still mean what you just said. Deal? Such a good guy, he deserved better than crashing into my wreckage. He nodded, so I started from college and worked my way to the present. I skipped the part about starting my agency and left his parents out of it. You really invest yourself in relationships, he said when I finished. That's rare. Let me clean this up first, I said. Then we can talk about us. It wouldn't be fair to you otherwise. It's okay. I'll wait. He shrugged into my jacket, walked a few steps, then glanced back. Head home. I'll return the jacket tomorrow. With that he left. I remembered the day of the badminton match. He had walked off alone in my jacket then too. The memory layered itself over the present and sent ripples across my heart. It was time to say a proper goodbye to the past. For the next several days I didn't see Logan at the county engineering office. I didn't know if he was avoiding me or that meeting had been his one deliberate push. Chase, on the other hand, showed up constantly. The hottest gossip around the office was the hottie loitering out front, supposedly waiting for someone, no one knew who. A coworker showed me a photo. It was Chase. I finally understood Logan's disappearance. I hid for a few days, then decided a lifetime of hiding was impossible and went downstairs to face him. What are you doing here? I opened fire. Tessa, stop this. Let's get back together, he pleaded, eyes already glassy. I bought a condo here. We can live here, together. Don't break us up. You know the moment you ran to Vivian we were finished. My voice was flat, his tears didn't move me. Forgive me. I swear I was wrong. I'll cut Vivian off. Let's start over. He grabbed my hand and swung it gently. The gesture yanked me back to the instant he'd realized I'd read his phone. Disgust bubbled up. I slapped his hand away. Sterling, keep your hands to yourself. I already have a boyfriend. Him? The guy from last time? Impossible, what does he have that I don't? Chase was practically shrieking. Sterling, speak respectfully of my boyfriend. I won't tolerate insults. I stared at him, watching the last shred of the boy I once loved crumble. He's just not as good as, a crisp smack cut him off. Logan's palm had landed square on Chase's cheek. Stop harassing us. Tessa is my girlfriend now. You're nothing to her, got it? Chase's knees buckled and he slid to the pavement. One weekend 6 months later, Logan and I finally sat in Riverside, the park we'd never managed to visit. Afternoon sun washed over us while kids sprinted across the grass, filling the air with life. A familiar silhouette flickered at the edge of my vision. I excused myself and walked over. Vivian. She wore casual clothes and held a lit cigarette. When she saw me she offered one, an expensive brand. I accepted, lit up, and waited to see what performance she had prepared. I'm leaving, she began. Before I go I want everything clear. I can't watch Chase torture himself any longer. My family went bankrupt my senior year. We sold the house and moved back to the sticks. I studied like crazy to get into Chase's university. I loved him, I wanted us together. But my dad secretly changed my major so I could pay off our debts. He died recently, so the debts died with him, but the gap between Chase and me stayed. When I heard he was about to marry, I was furious. How could he abandon his childhood for another woman? I couldn't accept it. I faked a return to the States to test how much I still mattered. Your breakup gave me the perfect opening. He came for me, proof I still counted. I stoked every fight between you two, made the cracks spread. That was my ladder to marrying Chase and climbing back to the top. But even in his dreams he calls your name. He bought that condo here, we screamed at each other, and I knew I'd lost. Still, he paid. When his parents found out, they froze his cards and cut him off. Without you he can't even look after himself. They ordered him into an arranged marriage with another rich kid. He gave up on you, and life lost color. He got married 2 months ago. I'm starting over abroad. Take care, Tessa. A year later, Logan and I had a baby girl. I adore her. Daughters are parents' little fleece jackets. Vivian moved overseas. Rumor says she's married now. The latest on Chase came from my college. His wife's family crashed into bankruptcy and she's doing time, no one knows how long. Chase is raising their child alone, back under his parents' roof and miserable. One afternoon, Logan and I wheeled our daughter past the high school. He pointed toward the athletic field. See that spot? That's where you lent me your jacket. I followed his finger. Yes, our bond began right there. What I didn't know was that, after I handed him the jacket and turned away, Logan had shouted after me, "Tessa, I like you." Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this story? If you enjoyed it, hit like and share with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales. See you next time.